It was a day like no other. Across the world, the sun rose on a planet that had seen its fair share of turmoil, but none like this. Humanity stood at the precipice of annihilation, its future uncertain. For centuries, Earth had been a battleground between nations, ideologies, and eventually, between humans and the invaders from the stars. But today, something was different. Today, the fate of the entire galaxy would be decided. For centuries, the Kothzar had watched humanity from afar, studying their wars, their petty conflicts, and their desire for domination. To the Kothzar, humans were a curious species fascinating in their unpredictability, and yet pitifully primitive in comparison to the vast advanced civilizations they had encountered across the universe. They had decided that it was time for humanity to be guided toward peace, whether humanity wanted it or not. The Kothzar Empire, a race of highly intelligent, bioengineered beings, arrived at Earth with one simple directive: subjugate. Their forces were overwhelming, their technology far beyond anything humans could hope to match. Within months, they had disabled Earth's defenses, crushed the militaries, and claimed Earth cities as their own. They imposed a harsh rule, promising peace in exchange for compliance. But the humans, as they always did, refused to bow. It was in the underground bunkers, the last remnants of humanity's military resistance, that a plan was being formed. The leaders knew the odds were slim, but they also knew that there was something the Kothzar had miscalculated. The one thing they hadn't understood about humanity: its unyielding spirit. General Elena Ramirez sat in a dimly lit room beneath the ruins of what had once been the United Nations headquarters. Her face was drawn with the weight of leadership, her thoughts heavy with the consequences of the next move. Outside, the world had been darkened by the shadow of Kothzar ships hovering above. Yet, within the walls of the Resistance's command center, there was a flicker of hope. Humanity had not given up. "I need everyone in position," Elena said, her voice steady, yet carrying the weight of destiny. "This is our one shot. We don't fight for survival anymore. We fight for our freedom, for our future." The humans had refused to accept the Kothzar's guidance, not because of pride, but because of something far deeper, an innate drive that they could never suppress, no matter how much the invaders tried. Humans had fought to survive for millennia, faced extinction countless times, and still they had always emerged. That fire, that will to live, was something the Kothzar could never understand. "Make them understand," Elena whispered to herself as she left the war room, her fingers tightening around her weapon. On the surface, the world was a battlefield. The Kothzar had set up control hubs in every major city, enforcing their will with a mix of brute force and sophisticated technology. They had demanded that humanity submit or face complete destruction. They had underestimated humanity's capacity for defiance. In every hidden corner of the world, pockets of resistance were rising. They were armed with old-world weapons, scavenged technology, and an unshakable belief that the Earth they knew was worth fighting for. And, more than anything, they refused to accept the idea of surrender. At the heart of the Kothzar fleet, aboard their flagship, Supreme Commander Talnor watched Earth from the observation deck. His race had conquered planets, wiped out species, and enslaved entire civilizations. Yet, these humans, despite their primitive technology, despite their fractured society, refused to yield. There was something about them that intrigued him. There was something about their spirit, their resilience, that his kind could not understand. "Commander," his second-in-command, Vera, spoke up. "The humans are organizing. They believe they can defeat us." Talnor glanced at her with a mixture of contempt and curiosity. "Let them try," he said coldly. "Their resistance is futile. Their chances of success are less than zero." But Vera hesitated. She had witnessed the humans' defiance firsthand. They were unpredictable, desperate, yes, but also capable of extraordinary things. There was a glimmer of something more in them, something that couldn't be easily crushed. "We may have underestimated them," she said, caution creeping into her voice. "They seem different." Talnor scoffed. "Humans are weak. They fight only because they have no choice. In the end, they will break." Yet, unbeknownst to him, the tide was beginning to turn. Across the globe, the humans were launching their final counterattack. In the midst of the Kothzar's dominance, they had begun to infiltrate the invaders' systems, hacking their communication networks, disabling their advanced weaponry. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for a future free from tyranny, free from the rule of the Kothzar. The tipping point came when General Elena Ramirez's forces managed to infiltrate the central command hub. With a few key strikes, they unleashed a cyber attack that crippled the Kothzar's main communications network. The invaders, for the first time, could not coordinate their forces. In the confusion, the human resistance rallied. The world was on the brink of chaos, but for the first time in months, the humans saw a glimmer of hope. "Commander," Vera shouted, looking at the flashing alerts on the console. "They've disrupted our systems. We are losing control." Talnor's face twisted in fury. The humans had done the unthinkable. They had defied him, and they had done it in a way no one, not even his greatest strategists, had predicted. "Impossible," he growled, slamming his fist on the control panel. "We will crush them. We will break them, just as we have broken every other species before them." But the humans refused to break. One by one, the Kothzar ships began to fall from the sky, their systems disabled by the Resistance's ingenuity. Their weapons were rendered useless, and as their fleet disintegrated, a message went out to every corner of the galaxy. Humanity would not kneel. On the streets of Earth, the cries of victory echoed as the last of the Kothzar forces were defeated. The invaders were not completely wiped out, but their power had been broken, and their hold on Earth had ended. The Kothzar had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt, to rise from the ashes and fight for what was theirs. The day humanity refused had come, and humanity had emerged victorious. General Elena Ramirez stood before the remnants of the Kothzar fleet, the sun rising once more over a free Earth. She knew the battle was not over. There would be more challenges ahead, more battles to fight. But for the first time in a long while, she allowed herself a rare smile. Humanity had refused to surrender, and for that, they had won.